Hi there! I'm Smitha from the blog Smiling Colors, and thank you for stopping by today. In today's video, I'm showing a new technique called Pointillism. Actually, it's not a new technique, but it's a new to me technique. In some countries, they also call this technique stippling. What you do here is you color in your art with just tiny dots. No brush strokes, no filling in, you're only using dots to color your project. Now let's get started. I have this adult coloring page printed and ready, and you can find this and many more such images in my Etsy shop, and I will leave a link for it below. I'm using Tombows Dual Brush pens today, but you can use any marker or gel pen you might already own for this technique. You don't really need many colors for this technique. You can achieve a nice shading with just a handful of colors. I'm going to start with this large flower, and I'm using the marker tip of the yellow color here. I will talk a bit more about the color combinations I used towards the end of this video, so stick around. This is going to be the lighter shade for this flower, and I'm filling in the entire petal with small dots of color. I'm just tapping my marker up and down repeatedly, and you kind of develop a rhythm with it. Now I'm using my second shade for this flower, the orange, and I'm tapping to add color towards the center of the flower, and also just towards the bottom of the petals. Now I'm using the darkest shade for this flower, the red, and I'm adding this only in the center of the flower. To finish off the center, I'm going in with some of the yellow and covering the entire area. Now I can see that the petals need more orange, so I'm just adding a tad more towards the bottom. I'm going to continue in this manner, cover the entire petal with light shade, then go in with the medium shade, and then add in just a little of the darker shade. Finally, I go over the entire petal with the lightest yellow once more. And here I'm going to show you a different color combination of a pink, a darker pink, and a purple. This is easier to see in the video than the yellows. So here I'm starting with the purple for the center. I'm adding a darker pink shade towards the bottom of the petals. And finally, I'm filling in the entire petal with a pink color. This is a lighter pink color. For the exact colors I've used here, stay till the end of the video or feel free to stop by my blog at any time. Now with the lighter pink, I'm going all over the center of the flower as well. And then I filled in the center with the dark purple entirely. I'm using really tiny dots and I'm completely covering it to make it look dark purple. The petals needed a little more depth, so I went in with my darker pink just towards the bottom of each petal. Here are a few tricks to keep in mind. Tap your marker tip up and down in quick movements. Don't overthink this. Try to lift your marker off the paper in one movement to avoid turning your dots into small dashes or lines. Don't try to complete this art piece in one sitting. Pointillism is an intense art form, and you can lose perspective easily. I recommend that you give a 5-minute break and walk away from it. When you come back and look at it, it will make much more sense and you will know which areas need more color. Try and keep the dots the same size. At first this might seem difficult, but by the end it will come very easily, and the uniform dot size makes the color more vibrant. Now for these tiny blue flowers here, I'm coloring the petals with just one color, blue. I'm populating more dots in the areas I want the color to be darker, and I have fewer dots in the areas that I want the lighter blue to show. And finally, here's a look at the finished coloring page. This is a fun technique once you get the hang of it, and I really enjoyed it by the end. Now I did think that I was done with my coloring many times before I came to this result, but then I would come back and add just a little more color, most often a darker shade to enhance the coloring. So here's another tip. Go for high contrast. I personally feel that when you add a darker shade to the whole flower or leaf, it comes alive in color. For example, these leaves are my favorite part of this drawing. Now let me talk a bit more about the color combinations I used. For the leaves, I used 3 different green shades, and the darker green is quite darker than the other 2, and I like that contrast. For the main yellow flower, I showed you the coloring with yellow, orange, and red before, but I ended up going in with just a darker yellow in there as well. For the pink and purple flowers I colored earlier in the video, I used pink, a pinkish purple, and a darker purple along with a bit of orange and beige. For the flowers here, I used 3 shades of purple and a pink towards the center. I also left the tips of the petals whiter, and this added more depth to the flower. For this big pink flower, I used pink, and for the shadows, I just added a touch of beige color. And that is how I colored in this adult coloring page with just dots. This is a fun technique and I hope you give it a try. If you are a colorist, you might also enjoy another video of mine in which I use these same dual brush pens to color an adult coloring page with some blending techniques. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment for me below and I will reply to it. And as always, you can find more information about this project on my blog www.smilingcolors.com.